Hey guys, and welcome to another Warship Wednesday model review with me. So, today we're going to be talking about a ship which I actually started to build prior to finishing on my old YouTube channel, and this is basically where you could say it ended and also where it began. So without further ado, let's talk a bit about her. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I give you heavy cruiser Zara, lead ship of the Zara class. So the Zaras, there were four of them. That were built just before World War II. You had Zara, the lead ship, Fiume, I do believe that's how you pronounce her. Then you had the Grozia and the Polar, which was slightly modified design of the class as a whole. And unfortunately for all four of them, they would not see the end of the war. So the Zaras were not very heavily armed, guys, just like the Indianapolis before. The Zaras were treaty cruisers, first and foremost, and they were treaty cruisers to a very extreme limit. Here's a good example for you. The displacement of the Zaras was anywhere between 11,326 to 14,560 tons. They were not huge ships, although they were sleek, so we're looking at a ship that was 599 feet and 9 inches long, or 182.8 metres. It had a beam of 67 feet 8 inches, or 20.62 metres, and they had a draft of 23 feet 7 inches, which is 7.2 metres. The Zaras had a propulsion power of 8 Thornycraft boilers, and this could produce 95,000 shaft horsepower, or 71,000 kilowatts of power. This was in conjunction with 2 steam turbines and 2 screw propellers, and this could all bring her up to a top speed of 32 knots, which is 37 miles per hour. So this ship would get a speed limit, although I wouldn't want to be the poor police car trying to stop a ship that's over 600 feet long down the main road. Can you imagine? It would be very, very difficult to do. The Zaras were, even though their armour was a bit off, they still had some good firepower. These ships were built at a time where 8-inch guns were the be-all and end-all when it comes to heavy cruisers, so they were armed with standard 8-inch guns, and these would be in 2 double-barrel turrets, 2 forward and 2 aft. They had a secondary armament of just double checking, secondary armament of 16 3.9-inch guns, or 100mm main guns, secondaries, sorry. These, as you can see, there, some of them mounted in the secondary turrets down here, guys. I'm pretty sure somewhere along the line they would have had more of them prior to the war starting, but this is how she pretty much may have looked prior to a battle in where she got sunk. Zara's also carried a couple of anti-aircraft guns in the 1.6mm or 40mm anti-aircraft guns. They had 8 1.5-inch 37mm guns, and obviously in their later careers they would have a couple of extra guns in, well, basically all 3 of them except for Grozia would have these extra guns. So the Grozia would have an extra 14 0.7 9-inch or 20mm anti-aircraft guns. So that's for the Grozia. So that's basically it for that. As I mentioned before, these poor ships' armour, if they had it, and let's see, deck armour, 2.8 inches or 70mm. You think it gets better? No, only just a little bit. The belt armour is 5.9 inches, 150mm. The turrets were also 150mm, and the conning tower, guess what? It's 150mm. Yeah. What am I talking about? The Italians built some good looking heavy cruisers, and they could definitely dish it out, but could they take it? No. So let me explain how the whole class basically got destroyed. So the Battle of Cape Matapan, Zara and Fiume in particular had to encounter 2 of the Queen Elizabeth class battleships. You guessed it. Basically how did one crew member put it? They remember seeing Zara's one of her turrets flying up into the air and then instantly sinking very quickly soon after that. I can well and truly believe that. 15-inch guns going up against a cruiser of this sort of armour is just not going to work very well. So yeah, the Fume May and Zara went down very quickly. Grozia would survive till 1943, but obviously the Polar would also go down in the same battle. Oh dear, poor Italians. I really feel sorry for them. Despite this though, I absolutely adore the Zara class. I think they're just beautifully stunning looking heavy cruisers, even though they're not really that good in the long run of things, unfortunately. And yeah, that's basically all I had to say when it comes to its history, guys. So, Baz, how did you get your hands on the Zara class? And how do we get our hands on one if we want one? So, obviously you guys may or may not have seen just yet, depending on where I've put her in the line, but I have also built Battleship Roma, which is another warship we will be talking about. Roma is a beautiful ship all on her own, and unfortunately she has got a career due to one particular instance that happened to her. See, her sisters, obviously, they survived the war, but Roma went down because of a particular bomb. But we'll talk a bit more about that later. The reason why I brought her up is because when I brought Roma, I realised something. At the time when I was building Zara, I was looking at what I could do as a counterpart to her. And yes, there is a model kit of the Polar out there. There is a model kit of the Grozia, and there is one of the Fume. Unfortunately, Fume and Grozia, they are 1/400 scale, so they wouldn't match completely with what I wanted to do when it comes to the collection. And the Polar I already built way back in 2016, and I was not happy with that model kit, not happy with it whatsoever. So yeah, I wasn't going to do that one again. Which then brought me on to, you guessed it, Trumpeter. And as a result, I managed to get my hands on Roma for a Christmas present. And yes, I was very happy with her. And that basically is how I managed to get my Italian fleet put together. I'm kind of hoping that model companies out there are building more Italian warships, because I wouldn't mind getting my hands on Otranto, which is the predecessors to these class of warships. And I also wouldn't mind getting my hands on maybe either the Andrea Doria or a Cavour class, because I do like those ones as well. But time will tell. Let's just see what happens. So, let's talk a bit about the model kit itself. So, once again, Zara here is a 1/350 scale model kit. She's made by Trumpeter, of all people. And what you see is pretty much what you get in the box, guys. She does come with all the photo etch bits, which I have put onto Zara here, as you can see, and the detail is absolutely stunning on a ship like this. I'm very over the moon with all this. As a matter of fact, prior to my hiatus on doing photo etch bits and pieces, this is the ship that's got the most photo etch in my collection as we speak. Well, I say that. I've got maybe 2 ships which still have lots of photo etch in them as we speak. Sorry about that, guys. It's just my the paper which has decided wants to fall in. Stay there. See, I don't make a script. So, yeah, all the photo etch is what the model comes with. She's all made of plastic. The anchor chains do come with her as well. And let's talk a bit about the paintwork. So the Italian warships in particular have got this particular grey, which for the life of me I can't find. Now I know Trumpeter to explain what colours you should be using, and when I did find the grey, which I thought was the one we were looking for, it turns out it was completely and utterly wrong. So I wasn't prepared to use it. So I did a bit of digging in my paint collection, didn't find a grey which suited, and then one day while I was in the model shop, this particular grey, and unfortunately the tin has run out, guys, so I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I did use it on both the Zara and the Roma. It's this particular grey which I have used on both warships, and as you can see, they look stunning. So I've used that grey nicely on these warships. The main deck is, and the turrets are covered in dark sea grey. I've used crimson red and just some cream for the colour here. In case you guys are wondering what this is about, why is that like that, Baz? So it was so the Italian Air Force could identify their warships to enemy warships. The same goes for the Germans. Apparently there was a time, not sure when, where one Air Force couldn't figure out whose ship was whose. So the Italians decided to paint pretty much all their capital ships and some of their destroyers with the red and white stripes on the bows. Very unique idea, and I do like it. Was a challenge, and as you guys can see, I've not done it completely accurately. That was a very tough bit of paintwork to be done there, but it came out nonetheless, and I'm very happy with it. The lifeboats, I had to do a bit of research, and unfortunately, well, what you see is what you get, guys. They're probably not, well, I'd say they're probably not. They're not accurate, and I'm not too fussed if they're accurate or not. The important thing is, you guys know that they are lifeboats and, well, launches and bits and pieces for crew and stuff. I know what they are. That's where they are, and that's how they stay. Ironically, the Zaras did have a bit of wooden deck on them at the sterns. This is actually an interesting design, because when I look back in World of Warships, and especially with some of the other Italian warships, the Roma and her sisters, the rest of the Zaras, and a couple of other Italian cruisers, they all had this wooden deck on the stern. Not quite sure what the reason is. Aesthetically pleasing maybe, or somewhere for the crew to go and chill out once they've done their duties or something. Not quite sure. Anyway, point being, so I remember painting it a very light yellow to start with, so I could outline all the individual wooden decking planks, because you guys can see, unfortunately not on this camera too badly, I can zoom in. Ironically, I actually can zoom in with this one. But as you can see, there is individual wooden decking on this one. And so after applying some yellow, I applied a slightly darker tan of yellow, then applied a little bit of brown, and then once all that was dried, I applied a bit of wash, which is a Ming wash, and I do believe it's the track rust colour I used, because it did match out what I wanted to do in the long run of things. Some of the anti-aircraft guns are just pure black, guys. Mainly it's a design thing. I have seen Italian warships with their anti-aircraft guns just painted in black, so I kept them similar to that to make them stylish a bit more, if you like. And that's basically about all I had to say, really. So the model as a whole went together very well. Photo etch parts went on when they should have gone on. No major issues there. Air ink fitted pretty well, little to no flash. I think there was a little bit of flash on the gun turrets, but it was mainly on the inside, so nothing too major to clean up there. But overall, guys, I'm very happy with her, and she sits proudly just above my Italian beast, the Roma, and there she will stay together with her sister, well, with her friend. It's not sister, they're different class of warships, obviously. But I do recommend this one, guys. If you're interested in Italian heavy cruisers and you want a 1350, go after the Zara, because she has got all the details you're ever going to want, and she's just, well, just plain stunning. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this model review, and I will see you all in the next one. Meantime, take care, guys. Have a nice week and weekend. Look after yourselves out there. Ta-ta for now.